everyone. I'm Julie from Streetwise. This is A. Allen. We're super excited to be back on CAN TV. We have a great first show planned for everyone today. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn it over to my co-host A. Allen to go ahead and tell you about Streetwise.
Streetwise is a great opportunity for anybody that may be looking for employment. Like when I came to Streetwise, I was looking for employment, but I had a criminal record and I couldn't find employment nowhere. So Streetwise was sort of like the last house on the block for me. And when I came in, it offered me a job opportunity to work for myself, to become an entrepreneur. I'm my own boss and I work my own hours, and Streetwise has a lot of opportunity. It can be used as a stepping stone for anyone that may be looking for extra money or income. Someone that may have no income, Streetwise is a great opportunity. Plus, we have other opportunities, employment opportunities. Nevertheless, Streetwise is a great opportunity, and that's what I want to do. I want to let you know you too can become a Streetwise vendor. All you have to do is come to Streetwise. We relocated. We at 2009 South State Street. We was on Wilson and Broadway, as some people may know, but now we relocated at 2009 South State Street, and you too can have an opportunity to make some money. Come down for orientation Tuesday and Thursday at 10 o'clock, and we'll start you out with 15 free papers. We'll orientate you with the code of conduct, how to carry yourself in an appropriate and proper manner when you're out in the public selling papers. We'll give you an ID badge. And at Streetwise, we offer a lot of things such as free food, free coffee. We start you out with 15 free magazines. We'll be having the computer service, the computer internet that you can get on and do your little research or look for jobs. And we also have telephone usage. We have coffee, donuts, we have clothing, we have hygiene kits, and we'll give you an ID to sell the Streetwise magazine. So come on down Tuesday or Thursday and make Streetwise work for you. It's a great stepping stone. I've been with Streetwise coming April 10 years, and they're really proven to be effective in helping me to earn an honest living.
So thanks, Ellen. Do you want to introduce Suzanne and Hannah to talk about this first segment of the show?
Yes, Suzanne.
Hi.
Hey, Suzanne Haney. Suzanne Haney, I like the subjects that you all picked for us, for the cover stories of Madam C.J. Walker and Ida B. Wells. So here's Suzanne to tell you more about the cover stories.
Well, I'm going to say that we were really happy this year. We not only had stories for Women's History Month that really covered Black History Month too. So we extended it a month. We did Ida B. Wells for our first story and Madam C.J. Walker for our second. Hannah did the story on Ida B. Wells. Hannah, what do you think was the most important thing that you learned out of it, or the first point we ought to stress?
Hi, I would say Sarah Hollenbeck of Women and Children First really summed it up well in a quote at the virtual book launch for Michelle Duster's Ida B. Queen book. She said, Ida B. Wells is the patron saint of Black history, Chicago history, women's history, and the history of journalism. And Charles Bethea of the Chicago History Museum also agreed with her, adding that she is the epitome of Maya Angelou's phenomenal woman.
And Michelle is, of course, the great-granddaughter of Ida B. Wells.
Yes.
So yes, she worked, there was a moment when Chicago was considering segregating the schools, and Ida B. Wells worked with Jane Addams so that didn't happen. She, of course, got her start. Alan noted in his piece that they were trying to kick her off a train and she said no, because they were trying to keep her into a segregated car, which would have been with the men who were drinking, and she said no. And so she was ahead of even Rosa Parks there. But she's most known for anti-lynching. A friend of hers who was a grocery store owner who simply competed with a white grocery store owner successfully, was lynched. and she started writing about that. She went to the scene of various lynchings, interviewed the survivors, gave some really detailed accounts. And so I'm going to bridge with that. She was actually a friend of Madam C.J. Walker.
Yes.
Yes, and she donated to Madam C.J. Walker donated to Ida's anti-lynching campaigns, and then late in her life, Madam C.J. Walker went to Washington as part of a delegation to meet with President Wilson and say, you ought to make lynching a crime. So what else? Is there anything else we can sum up on Ida B. Wells? Ida B. Wells Barnett. Her married name was Barnett, and she hyphenated ahead of her time.
Yes, she was certainly an inspiring woman, and her legacy definitely continues today.
Right. Okay. And there's going to be a monument to her near the old Ida B. Wells homes, 3700 South.
Yes.
Cool. Well, thank you very much. I think we want to talk about Madam C.J. Walker a bit. The basis of our story was an interview that Dory McWhorter, the CEO of the YWCA, did with Madam C.J. Walker's great-great-granddaughter, who is Alelia Bundles, and who was a former Washington Assistant Deputy Bureau Chief for ABC News. She wrote, they interviewed her, and she said that, so Madam C.J. Walker developed a hair growth cream. She had problems with her scalp. And so she developed a cream that had petrolatum and sulfur and then a masking ingredient so that you didn't smell the sulfur. But it got down to the scalp and kind of invigorated it, got rid of any dandruff or anything. And she encouraged women to wash their hair more often. Realize this is the days before people had indoor plumbing. So it was a big deal. So she got women to wash their hair more often. And then she taught her product in churches and other places where she could do a slideshow, which was modern for the time. And she would watch to see who asked the best questions and then who had the most magnetic personality. And those were the people that she empowered to be her sales agents. So she did testimonials in her advertisements that said, you have made it possible for a Black woman to make more in a day than she could in a month in somebody's kitchen or on their farm, for that matter. So both Dory and Alelia noted that this was the first generation out of slavery. We tend to think of only the Civil War and then the Civil Rights Movement, but there's 100 years in between. And here's these women starting to make inroads. So she also, what Dory also noted is that she helped women create generational wealth. And so we're going to talk, we talked a little bit about the DePaul Women's Business Accelerator. And I think it's time.
Our guests from the DePaul Women's Accelerator and the YWCA are here and ready to join us.
Okay, so should we talk to Ashley first?
We're gonna bring on both Ashley and Kelly together.
Okay, we'll bring them on together. So, Kelly, the point you made, that is the reason that I was so eager to interview, well, you noted this, that you noted that again, that it gave them income that was so much more than they would have at a higher level. And Kelly noted that. And Ashley, tell me a little bit about what I really liked interviewing you was that you did what we were talking about. Mr. Johnson at the YWCA talks about how if every Black entrepreneur hired one more person, we would solve the jobs problem. And you did that. You hired a young lady who is a cosmetology graduate, and you're trying to give her direction as to where else she could go. So, you know, in cosmetology. So talk a little bit about what you said about all the other jobs you've created too, because you've hired other people to do other things. You've done like your creative strategies, etc.
Yes, absolutely. So I have allocated several jobs to different people And that comes from, you know, web design and creating other marketing tools. And especially with the cosmetology grad that kind of lost her passion. And I said, hey, you know, you've spent 1,500 hours and, you know, gone through a state exam and all these things. And you seem to be really passionate about it, you know, up into the point of graduating and getting out into the field. And I think she got a little bit timid and shy. And I said, well, you know, I'll take you under my wing. You know, I got over 10 years worth of experience and I still believe in you. I think you're magical. And, you know, you have that gift and you have the ambition and the insight. And there's so many other avenues within the cosmetology field itself. You don't necessarily have to be behind the chair. You know what I mean? There's like admin and there's, you know, design and there's platform and shows and so many other avenues within the cosmetology field itself that, you know, there are infinite possibilities for her. So I think she's becoming a little bit more motivated and inspired now. And that's great.
You're right. And so this was one specific job, but others as well. Kelly, let's talk a little bit more about how the YWCA is doing that. What you said to me is when you expand it past one woman and put it in the community, it's economic development.
Sure. So first, Ashley, great to meet you. And I think that your story is phenomenal. And it's actually exactly what it is that we're attempting to do with our accelerator, because our philosophy is, and let me just back up a little bit, because I have a career in economic development and workforce development and community engagement and all that. And a big part of what economic development is about how do we make communities as a whole healthier. And it's rarely ever based around what one particular business is doing. And so do we want our businesses to be successful and healthy? Absolutely. That's what we do. We have an SBDC program. This accelerator program is to help women of color grow and scale their businesses. So sure, we want them to develop, you know, a growth strategy so that the businesses themselves can be healthy. But ultimately, our ultimate goal is to then also make sure that they are in a community that is supportive of their businesses and that can support the needs of that community, right? So when you take a business like Ashley's, who is a hair salon, communities need hair salons. People need a place to go where they can have these services to support her business, but also it is a benefit to the community to have that business there. So you cannot take apart economic development from business development. They're two sides of the same coin. It's actually about 4 or 5 sides, but it's one side of the same coin. And that is our focus, to make sure that our communities as a whole are getting better along with the businesses that we're trying to grow.
You know, and I think it's so important. We did a story on Invest Southwest, where the city is trying to coalesce all the investments on the south and the west sides because it hasn't happened. But they point out, again, what Mr. Johnson of the YWCA has said, that there's a $1 billion retail and restaurant gap in Bronzeville alone. So we need businesses that people can shop at, go to, not just for their own benefit, but because it put taxes back into the community. It puts jobs into the community and taxes. And so that's what you're doing, both of you.
No, absolutely. And when we talk about, so, you know, people talk about the social determinants of health all the time. And one thing that Robert talks about all the time is that the same factors, the same indicators that are a part of the social determinants of health are also the social determinants of wealth, right? So when you look at wealthy communities or communities that, you know, have sustainable businesses, you know, what are those things? And so when we look at communities such as Bronzeville, such as a lot of the South suburban communities, such as the South and West sides, and we look to see why they are not doing as well economically as other more affluent communities, is because they lack the resources, right? They lack access to stores, they lack access to restaurants, access to bars, access to entertainment opportunities, access to all of those things that make communities healthy. And so when we talk about making sure that we are supporting, businesses. It's a bigger picture than just that business. That business does not operate in a vacuum. It operates as part of a larger community. And so the success of any one business is also the success of that community. And so that is our overarching kind of goal and the problem that we're trying to solve for.
Right. And I see that. I mean, it's also so many little things. I mean, like somebody who needs a job, and we all think that you got to be at the top of the game, but maybe you're not at the top of the game right away. You start little. And so there have to be stepping stones for people. Otherwise they don't get started and they don't make money.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So you've got to create these businesses. And if you've got a woman entrepreneur and she's starting a small business, that's a stepping stone. And and Ashley, in your case, it's been lots of stepping stones because you've done, let's say, I think you hired someone to do your web design, and then you've got other people doing other creative things. What other things did you have?
So I did hire someone to do web design. So I did a complete revamp into WordPress, and it's gorgeous. And that website is www.laflairhair.com, LEFLAIRHAIR.com. I also now have brochures for the salon that include the content that was created, which was great. And all this stuff I learned and implemented from the WEI program. Also, I've hired, what else did I do? I hired someone to do graphics, like for social media. So like you got like this spinning, galaxy, and then it shoots out into the salon logo, things of that nature that are really, really catchy. You know what I mean? Yeah. And also hired someone else to do cleaning, et cetera, et cetera. So, and honestly, it's been great to be able to bring people on to help with these things and, help employ and empower others, and also give myself a break and be able to just focus on being creative and innovative in the salon and still be a wife and mom, of course, as well, too.
Well, and because as you said, your forte is being a salon owner. It's not doing graphics. So why would you keep spending time on stuff that's not your thing?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And can I just jump in on that real quick too? Because I think that is such an important place to hang a pin, right? Because when we support businesses, and of course, my particular focus is women of color businesses. And so what we have found through this partnership with WEI, that we've also gained another partner, Get Cities, which is a collaborative effort through the city to bring technology professionals together. And one of the things that we've been able to put together through our accelerator program is that not only will our businesses be getting the really important information, in terms of like how to run a sustainable business and how to grow and scale. But we also are through our partnership with Get Cities, we are absolutely able to then incorporate all those things that Ashley just mentioned, like how do we infuse technology into our businesses? So we're finding that we're going to be able to impact a whole nother set of women-owned businesses to bring in those services. So not only is it our women who are going through our accelerator program, but it's also these service providers, these technology vendors who will also be able to grow their business through partnership with our companies. And so our impact now is becoming exponential. And that is the beauty of what happens when you support community-based businesses. You're not just supporting a business, you're supporting a whole ecosystem of what it takes to make those businesses successful in that community. So, I mean, I think that this is fantastic. Ashley is a perfect example of exactly what it is we're trying to do.
Right. So everybody.
And thank you so much, Kelly, and nice to meet you too.
You as well.
So let's have one final thought from each of you, from both of you. I guess, Ashley, you'll go first since Kelly just spoke, and then I'll give her a last shout.
Yeah, so it would be amazing if we all can just continue to work together within the communities collectively to help build each other up and grow. And it is something that can be done, and I am so excited to see what this YWCA program is going to bring. I'm sure it's going to be very fruitful, and I'm excited for you.
Oh, absolutely, Ashley, and thanks to businesses like yours, this is going to be a really good thing. And so, I guess finally, what I want to say is just to kind of piggyback on everything that's already been said. Our mission, we have a couple of missions. One is, of course, as the YWCA, to eliminate racism and empower women. Through our Economic Empowerment Institute, we want to close the wealth gap between Black families. And then with our accelerator in particular, we want to create places where folks can live, work, play, and pray in their own communities. And so it's businesses like Ashland, like the other fantastic women coming through the WEI program and YWCA accelerator program that's going to help us make this a good story. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited about it. Ashley, can't wait to meet you. Know you've been through WEI. We're gonna steal you into the YWCA family as well. So yeah, let's just make it a good thing for all of our communities.
I may do one. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I just said it's wonderful. This is just wonderful. I love to just see women like us just building and growing with each other. It's amazing.
That's right.
I may do one more thing. So with WEI, there was your business, and there was another lady who was doing liqueur from Peru. And there was another lady who did a mansion in Logan Square that's a wedding and events venue. And there were some other people that were doing advising for gender equity, which is a lot of telling people how they can be able to, she was advising corporations. Mm-hmm. So these are typically businesses that we would think of as women-centered. But one thing that that Abigail at DePaul said to me is that, even businesses that we think of as women-centered aren't necessarily headed by women. So the women CEOs, you would think they're CEOs, but they're not. They're headed by men. So at least we're starting businesses that women can own and run and have lives. But Kelly, tell me a little bit about some of the businesses that you've got started in this first accelerator, because it's kind of hard to visualize businesses unless we have examples.
Sure. So we have, so of course, our accelerator is industry agnostic. So we have women from all different types of business industries. And so let me look at my list so I can remember, because they are all such phenomenal women. So we have a couple of businesses that are in the PR and media industry. We have a financial services business. We have a speakers bureau, which I think is fascinating. We have a young lady who is running a sales and marketing business, which is absolutely phenomenal. She actually works with big stores such as Target and Walmart in their supply chain, getting African-American women, I shouldn't say African-American women, but women primarily. For us, of course, is women of color, products in big box stores. We have a syrup manufacturer, Michelle Hoskins, who is like one of the only Black syrup manufacturers in the country, who has really seen an increase in growth since Aunt Jemima stepped down. And so all of her products are in Denny's and other stores all across the country. We have a construction, a young lady who has a construction and development company. So we have a vast variety of types of business owners in this first cohort. And of course, as we have subsequent cohorts, we're going to have even more women, but they are all super, super dynamic. And we just want to wrap them in love and services and figure out how we can not only help them through this accelerator program, but also show them to our local communities to figure out how we can incorporate, their work and services into the businesses that we are also supporting. So, yeah, those are the women, and they really make me look good. So it wasn't me; it's all them, and they are absolutely phenomenal. So we are so super excited about that. We're going to have a huge big launch, and kind of, we're going to have a whole debutante ball to show them to the world and announce to folks who don't already know them. So we're excited about these ladies.
Cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It sounds like just the limit is only the imagination.
Absolutely. And one of the things, and I'll say this, and then I will be quiet, but one of the things that seems to be a theme through a lot of the women who are coming through our accelerator, and I'm sure the same for, Ashley and the other ladies who go through WEI. And one of the things that they said all the time was, if I could do this, anybody could do this, right? So none of them feel like anomalies, right? They feel like I just had a really good idea and I had a ton of support. Some things I did really well, other things I've done horribly wrong, but you know, by the grace of God, I'm still here and I'm here to serve other folks, and you can do the same thing. So there's stories. Oh, and I didn't even mention our other ladies. We have another lady who owns a chicken wings restaurant in Bronzeville, and another lady who owns a medical billing business who got her start from a Section 8 free entrepreneurship training. So their theme is, if I could do this, anybody can do this. And we are just really, really trying to get that message out to as many folks as we can. If you have a business idea, we have support that can help you get launched. We have support that can help you grow. And we just want to see more women get in business, because we know that we start businesses faster than any other segment of the population.
Sounds like a sisterhood.
It is
and a productive one.
It's such a sisterhood.
Cool. So Julie, have you had any other comments that we need to sum up?
No, we don't. I just want to thank Ashley and Kelly and Hannah and Suzanne and A. Allen, who kicked off our return to CAN TV, and we'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thanks, Suzanne. Ashley.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kelly.
ladies.
Thanks, Ashley.
Thanks, ladies.
Alan.
This
Thanks,
has been
Julie.
amazing.
Thanks, Hannah.